You guys, I'm excited to be with you this morning. We have a great conversation, I think, lined up that's going to be super timely. I am not always on these calls, so favor to me, if you're going to be on, could you turn your video on so that I know kind of where we're at and the conversation and how people are kind of engaging with things. And because I'm not quite sure who's all on what team, it would help me if you guys could, if we could go around the horn and just kind of introduce and what team you're on and what role you play on that team. And I'll start. I'm Diana. I'm the team leader out at Keller Williams Lake Country. I've been on a handful of these over the year, and it's always, you guys are such a great group of people. I love when I get the opportunity to dive in and have a conversation with you. So I'm excited to be here. Who's going to go first?
I'll go. Hi, Diana.
Hi.
Molly with Fair Hinton Group. I'm the director of ops. Got a couple other teammates on, but yeah, this is always a good hour of the month. So glad to be here.
Fantastic. Hi, Molly. Thanks for diving in with me. I appreciate it. And Fair Hinton, I just, gosh, I love Miss M. She's great. What a fun team. So. All right, who else do we have?
I'm Peggy Wayhausen. I'm with the Falk Reuven Gallagher team at Whitefish Bay, and always fun to share things and hear from other people. So I appreciate this time.
Awesome. Thank you, Peggy. Nice to see you again. I know that I always feel, it's so funny. So much of our time is spent in these little boxes that it's just nice to put a name with a face and meet people all over again. So welcome, Peggy. Great to have you.
I could go. I'm Kim. I'm also from Fair Hinton. I'm the listing manager for Chicago, Milwaukee. And yeah, just excited to be here this morning.
Hey, Kim. Nice to see you. Are you in Milwaukee or Chicago?
Living in Chicago.
Okay, awesome. I moved up from Chicago. It's got a good place in my heart. I love it there. What area do you live in?
I live in North Center, so really close by like Wrigley Field.
Nice. Awesome. Welcome. Who else we got on the horn here?
Well, I'm Brianna. I'm also with the Fair Hinton Group. I'm the transaction coordinator for the Chicago team. Awesome. And our other transaction coordinator, Alex, is on the phone with one of our agents. She's like, I'll be there just a minute.
Sure.
So she'll be joining us in a second.
We all know your jobs are never done. It's always hard to carve out some time. So totally get it. That's awesome. And then I think, who do we got there?
Hi, my name's Macy. I'm with the Falk Reuven Gallagher team with Peggy.
Macy. Yeah. I think we shared a room out in Austin once.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. We look different on squares. I'm like, oh, Macy, I know you. That's like in person, like, for real.
Sorry, I didn't expect to be on camera today. I'm working from home, so I'm not.
You know what? This is an internal working meeting and it's all good. Nobody's, it's all good.
Yes.
Awesome. So I do have a slide kind of presentation together to help us have our conversation today, but I want to introduce it before we dive in, and the slides are really just an aid to help us have a conversation around our topic today. And our topic is a shifting market and what it means from an administrative and operations perspective. Okay, so if you've been on the team meetings and kind of been part of the last month or two of any of the trainings that we've had, you are aware that things are changing, right? The market is definitely a little different than it was 6 months ago, a year ago. And we talk a lot about what that means for the agent and what that means for the overall business. But I wanted to kind of carve out this time specifically to talk about it, what it means for you and for your agents from your perspective, and then also for the operations and systems that you all are in charge of running. So oftentimes when we think about shifts, it can be an intimidating space to be, right? And I know that some of our agents, I've had conversations about agents, what does this mean for my business? How do I how do I grow, or things are slowing down and it's a little nerve-wracking from their perspective. And what I've shared with them and what I want to have this conversation to really be about is, what is the opportunity to be had in a shift? And how do you guys position yourself as the hero? Because, oh my gosh, there are things that we can do to make this an amazing time for your team and your agents, and just kind of an acknowledgement of what they may be feeling and experiencing, and also what you may be feeling and experiencing, because that comes to play, right? We're all human and we bring our full selves to our job. Hey, Bev. Then how to kind of have that be an awareness as you go into your day-to-day and support your team in their growth. How does that sound? Good? Okay. So I wanted to start, I am going to just share my screen a little bit just to make sure that can I share my screen? I'm not sure I can share my screen, you guys. I don't have any pictures, so I'm not going to share my screen. That's okay. It's kind of a bummer, but we'll go from there.
Mine only shows up if I move my cursor to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Let me give that a try. Let me see what nope.
No.
It won't. No, it's okay. Okay, it won't. I somehow have a systems preference set up that it won't let me share, but I can send it out afterwards if we need to, or maybe. Hey, Kathleen, are you on? Kathleen or Jackie, if you're on, I would love help sharing this. So let me share my presentation with you, and if you can bring it up, that would be great. Sorry, you guys, hang on. This is why I need help too. Okay, hold on. Share. Kathleen. Okay, you're shared. If you just want to bring that up, that would be awesome when you get a chance. So while she's working on that for me, if we could, when you hear shift, what do you think? If you could share kind of what is your experience right now when we talk about a shifting market? That should say admin mastermind, but y'all roll with me. It's all good. Next one for me. There we go. This is very much a participatory conversation, so just to share.
But I think too,
talking about just it's a chance to love on people a little bit more, because I mean there is a little bit more time now, but it's a chance to love on people and really solidify your processes and things so that you can make sure you're rolling out your best version of yourself to people, because the competition now is still steep. But yeah, we've just been talking about making sure that everything is as good as we can possibly make it.
Yeah.
And just keeping people positive as well, keeping agents positive. That, yeah, it's tougher, it's tighter, but it's not impossible. So making sure everybody's got everything that they need, the information that they need, and just as up-to-date information as possible when they go out to meet with people, so that they can talk intelligently about the shift and not scare people, not be like, oh my God, the sky's falling kind of thing. So
right.
That's what we've been working on.
Yeah, I love that, Beth. Often when we talk about things and we can demystify it, it takes some of the fear and the exactly. Kind of the scare out of it.
Put it in perspective for the rates, the increasing interest rates. Put it in perspective that it's not that long ago that it was way, way, way higher. So it's higher, but it's still really not that bad.
Yeah.
And just give buyers the tools to say, okay, so this is what you could spend last month, but this month, maybe we're looking at something a little different. So just being the experts, that's what we're trying to do anyway.
Nice. Thank you.
No.
What other experiences do you guys have with this?
For us, it just feels more like it was pre-pandemic, where people have to do their lead gen, and they have to pour into their business a lot more than we have in the past 2 years. And we all kind of got busy and we weren't lead genning truly. We weren't being as prepared for our listing consults and buyer consults because there were so many of them and we didn't have the opportunity to prepare. And so it's really like right now, I feel like the opportunity to work, it's kind of similar to what Charlie said, like on Tuesday, like working in your business. And a lot of our agents are like stepping up and, you know, I'm strategizing more. You know, Beverly, you mentioned like loving on people. Like I'm loving on our agents so much more. Like I'm talking with them at a way higher level than I was before. Like as a director of ops, I was kind of in the background the last like, you know, X amount of months when they were so busy with their clients. But now that they have to be a little bit more scrappy, they have to like make sure that their skills are sharpened and like a little bit more prepared. They bring me in more and like ask me for help on lead gen, executing ideas, coming up with creative ways to talk to their people. So it's an opportunity for me to like deepen those relationships. And then for us all to just like, you know, it was a crazy time the last 2 years. And a lot of us were complaining about how busy we were, but I mean, the flip side is now you're busy doing other things. So it's, it feels good to like look back on the business and like actually pour into your business rather than just like running around with a chicken with your head cut off, which was kind of our, what happened on our team, like over the past year.
I think you're in pretty good company. I think that happened to not only a lot of team folks, but a lot of agents. They were very reactive rather than, you know, prepared and purposeful, right? So anyone else have any other experiences of this, or when you think about it, how does it make you feel? Or
I can kind of add to what Molly said a little bit. I feel like our team is really getting back to the basics of things. Our agents are finally like raising their hands for like open houses, and we're really trying to like focus on lead gen to just make sure our clients are feeling loved in every way possible. You know, it's a weird time right now. So, you know, as much as we can like communicate with our clients, as much as we do like for the admin, for the agents, the client or the agents can communicate with the clients, like it's just, you know, it'll be better. And, you know, we're just trying to get back to basics of like hosting open houses and them really focusing on their lead gen to try to like just push business and just like keep your nose to the ground and just like work, you know?
Yeah, very much so. So kind of a common theme that I've heard with all three of you has been twofold: loving on your people, right? And loving on your clients. So how many of you guys have client contact in addition to agent contact? So, okay. And then who has primary responsibility for systems for their agents and team, kind of background stuff? Okay. And the reason I ask about this is because you're going to have people kind of coming in at different places, right? So if you think about who your client is, it's your agents for sure, and then their clients, right? So you've got two levels of support and systems. So one of the things I want to start with as we think about providing services at a high level is kind of how you do your care for yourself, right? There's a book that it's called The Shift, The Gift of the Shift. Does anybody have the Shift book? No? Okay. I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is a great resource right here, this book right here. It's part of our Keller Williams Pantheon of writings. And you can get it from any of your team members. But the very first chapter that they have put together is a Get Real, Get Right. So part of what the Keller Williams folks thought was most important anytime the market shifts is get a really good grounding on where you are coming from. What is your mindset, right? And how can you feel comfortable in coming from a place of abundance? And that's something that, you know, we don't need to take a lot of time talking about. It can be a very personal experience. You know, anytime things change, it can feel uncomfortable, right? Who feels uncomfortable right now? Anybody? Okay, thanks, Molly. Thanks, you guys, for, yeah. Would you share about what makes you uncomfortable right now?
It's like just you have to have like almost a blind trust in the business, and that the more you keep putting stuff out there, it's going to come back to you tenfold and you're going to be rewarded. I feel like I've heard Emily and Kevin say this over the years that like, oh, they look at their pipeline and it's a little bit dry, but like they know that it's going to come. They know that they've put in their work in the business for so long that the clients will come. You just keep having, like, you need to do like the action items behind it. And I just need to trust that it will come and not stress about it in the moment. But like, I'm such a admin brain where I want it done and I want it done now. And I want to see the proof on paper. And it's not always there, at least to the level that it was in 2021. And, you know, that's also, it's hard to shift your mindset, because the end of 2021, we made goals for 2022 that were based on our production in 2021. And I don't like seeing myself and my teammates not hit our goals, but we were not setting goals relative to the market that we would be entering in 2022. And it can kind of be unmotivating to see yourself putting all this work out, but not necessarily getting back as much as you had in the years past. But again, just kind of going back to that, like, not blind trust, but like optimism that it's going to come back. And if you keep doing the action items, you will be rewarded in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, for sure. And that can be a little unsettling when goals are set and we're not hitting them, especially when we hit them last year. It feels like we should be able to repeat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that can be certainly unsettling. Anybody else have anything that they wanted to kind of add to that? Anything else making an uneasy time?
Rick had us working at our last team meeting. Rick had us working with pairing up an admin with a sales agent to do some brainstorming between the front office and the back, and also talking about how to find not only working their sphere, but working their sphere's sphere. Mm-hmm. So getting past that first sphere and asking for business from their friends and their sphere also. Yeah. So that was part of our exercise at our last team meeting too, just to help with feeding the pipeline better, to keep the admin team busier. So,
yeah, I think that's a great part of what can help alleviate anxiety or that uncertainty is to get into action, right? Do the next right thing. What is on my plate that could move my business ahead today? And I think that's one, as we move further into this, you know, we've all kind of talked about this. This is definitely a skills market, which means the work that you've done in the past on processes and systems to support your team and their growth it's a great time if you have anything that needs to be enacted that hasn't been enacted before, or maybe you just didn't have time to do it. It's a great time to dive in, because there is, like, for example, there are 7 steps to take to run a great open house. You know, we haven't had time in the past year to do all 7 steps, right? But now might be the time. So do you need to dive in and find out what that is? And this is, you know, this is a lot about how do you be the hero for your team. Your agents might not know what they are. You might not know what they are. That's totally fine. But there are resources here to help you dive in and find out what they are. So I kind of want you to take a step back and a critical eye at looking at your team and their processes. What's missing that could help them elevate their game? So you talked a little bit, Molly, about goals and not hitting the goals, and it can be a little demotivating. I like to think about goals as a sign marker. You know, the market last year, a lot of people set goals that were too low because they anticipated more work to get business. And now our goals appear to be a little bit too high if nothing changes, right? So you can look at goals in terms of a way of identifying things that need to change to hit those goals. And we've talked a lot about lead gen. A lot of what your people are going to be concerned about or nervous about is getting enough lead in their pipeline to hit those goals. A good rule of thumb that we look at anytime things shift is that right now, and Charlie's mentioned this, it takes about 3 times the activity to get the same business. Okay, does that make sense? So if you think about being the hero for your agents and for your team, Peggy, I love that Rick had you pair up with your agents. You guys are the systems brains behind how these teams work. I guarantee you our agents, while I love them to death, are squirrely, right? To sit down and say, what does 3 times lead gen look like for me to get to these same numbers? What do I have to do? The kind of focus and concentration it would take to put that together, it's not their strong suit, right? For many of them. I don't want to, I am categorizing in a broad brush, but you get what I'm saying. So when you can sit down and say, okay, how many people are in your pipeline? How many leads do you have in command? And how many touches are you making to get those people into business? What does that look like when you do that 3 times? And just having that piece of information, because I think anytime things shift, it can be a big unknown. So you being able to put quantity and numbers around this helps dispel some of the anxiety and fear, right? You're giving them something to do and something to focus on, which will help kind of help them stay the course, right? Does that make sense? Okay. And some of the other, you know, when we hear, so our agents who do hear 3 times the lead gen activities that they need to do, I think sometimes they think, well, what the heck? What are those 3 times? What more could I be doing? So I know Fair Hinton has done a lot of lead gen courses for all of our agents, right? You know, now's a really good time to dive in and look at, if your lead gen plan hasn't changed. I was talking to one of my top teams the other day, and the Rainmaker's like, we just need to get back on the phones. You know, a lot of your agents have a lot of reputation such that they had business based on their sphere that they were working in, right? And now they need to be in regular conversation with people. And we're kind of going back to those care calls. Was anyone on that pivot shift ahead page when the pandemic started? Okay. This is a great resource, you guys. It's a Facebook group that James Shaw has spearheaded. But when the pandemic started, the page was actually called Pivot Shift. And it talked about the activities that you need to do. How do you stay in relationship with your people when the pandemic changes? It's a regular call at 7 o'clock. They record all of them so you can log into them at any time. But that Facebook page is really designed for this moment. What are the activities that people should be doing to stay in touch with their database? And your agents might not have the ability to focus on that call in a way that is meaningful to them. Maybe you do, right? So this is what kind of content are they bringing that you can then bring to your team? And I'll tell you, one of the things that they came out with was the golden letter. Have you all heard of the golden letter? Okay. And do any of your teams use that? Have they had success with that?
Yeah, we've done golden letters before. I know our agents do them. Benji specifically on our team does them, and I think he won like a couple listings from them, to be honest.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's how they should work.
Mm-hmm.
So that conversation really got highlighted on that Pivot Shift Ahead page. But what they started with was lead genning in such a way that you're reaching out with care calls, right? So that care call was, hey, I'm just checking up on you. How are you doing? Is there anything that you need that I can help with? And that was super relevant when the pandemic started. If you think about where we are now, it's super relevant today too. So I don't know about your Facebook feeds, but I'm seeing a handful of my friends saying, gosh, it's hard to make groceries this month, you know, or I don't have any money to take my kids to this special outing, you know? So, you know, think about what a care call might look like structured around, hey, I know things are tight right now. How are you doing? Is there anything, anything that I can do, any resource I can connect you with? And coming from an agent, it's just a nice outreach to keep that conversation, to keep them top of mind. And all of your people have a ton of people that they're connected with, right? Maybe somebody needs some help and they can help out with that. Does that make sense? So that's a basic. What other basics do you guys do that maybe you didn't do to the level that you wanted to in the past 2 years, or you think that this is a great opportunity to revive?
I can go. So yes, we do the golden letter. I send them out, like we work with all the agents for some of their listings. If they sold really quickly, we'll send those out. If they've got a buyer in a particular area that there is no active listings, we'll send those out as well. I also always challenge our agents to take it a step further and door knock that area and then do some circle prospecting, because you have to do 3 times the amount of activity. And so hitting those people again and again and again will just give them more opportunities to get in front of them. We are also doing client care calls. Actually, the admin team is doing them for our agents. Emily and Kevin have asked us to pull their list of clients from when Fair Hinton was originated in 2017. And so over the summer, it is the admin's job to call all of those individuals and ask them how they're doing, what we can do for them, and just let them know that we're always here if they need anything. That's something that Emily and Kevin, they've done in the past. Like, they've obviously talked to those people, but we're making a more concerted effort to like get in front of them. And then we have like a spreadsheet where, if Brianna calls someone, she'll put her initials, and then Kevin can follow back up and say, hey, I know Brianna on my team called you, like, hope you're doing well. Like, don't forget us if you need anything. So like, again, hitting them again after we make that introduction, which has been, we've only been doing it for like a couple days now. So we'll see how it goes by the time that summer is up. But then last week, what we did, which was really inspiring, and it got me, I had a ton of conversations with agents. I'm still in conversations with them. On our team meeting, we talked about 2 types of lead gen. Like, what does your scrappy lead gen look like right now? Scrappy meaning you're going out to get deals now. Like, what are you going to do different to get deals now? Like meeting new people, doubling down on your open houses, door knocking, like what does that look like? But then I also asked every agent to send me a list of priorities every week of lead gen activities that they're actually going to do. And then I will follow up with them, and like they have like a tracker to like cross off when they do them every week.
Yeah.
As we talk about lead gen, and a lot of the times I find that like agents don't know what that means, and they don't know what it means to them. So then they get in the office or get to their office space at home at 9 a.m. and sit there. They'll probably call Brianna or Alex for their client updates, transaction notes, and then don't really know what to do when an hour goes by and they haven't accomplished anything. I just want to make it so simple for them that they know these are the 5 things that I need to do every week to get in front of my people and to connect with them. So we we're trying to like make it so simple that they can't not do it.
Yeah. It's like fail-proof your business. These are the things that you need to do, or recession-proof your business, right? Like, and we teach some of those. And you guys, I would totally enlist your help if you have agents that like that accountability and kind of want the opportunity to dive in again. I think Emily's actually teaching one of our Ignite sessions, but that's starting on July 6th. And that can be another assist for you guys to help your people stay surrounded by people who are doing activity. I think Bev, you mentioned one of the things that's really critical right now is helping people stay positive, right? And staying positive can be around other people who are doing the actions. And sometimes I think our agents shy away from that because they're embarrassed, like they don't want to be on the phone. They don't want anyone else to hear their script. Oh my gosh, to hear somebody out, like, I'll do this, Charlie will do this, Mandy, like, you can listen to us. We've all made fools of ourselves on the phone, it's all good.
We do script practice as well between the agents so that they can you know, do it with people that they feel comfortable with, first of all.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And being
yeah.
around that kind of activity, here's something that I think you might want to think about in terms of being the hero. They don't realize the context we're all swimming in, right? So I had somebody who came to me and they're like, you know, I feel like I'm failing. I've only had 4 appointments last week. Well, 4 appointments for some people is amazing, right? And they just didn't know. So one of the things that we're thinking about is putting out a success story once a week, once every couple days, so that our people know, you know, like the successes are definitely the out of the park, you know, you knocked it out, you're the best in the business, but they're also, wow, you wrote five note cards 5 days in a row. That's a success. That's a lead gen success. And one of the things that you might want to think about is highlighting a team success so that your people can understand the context that they're swimming in right now, right? So help them stay positive and be surrounded by that good accountable energy that helps them kind of pick themselves off and dust off when they're moving. They're going to hear no more often in different ways now than they've heard in the past couple of years, and that's going to be a little bit challenging for them.
We start our meeting, every Monday meeting, we start with a success story or two. Like we'll literally look back and say, okay, what happened that was great this past week? And we
Yeah.
highlight that right at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah. And do you keep track of those, Bev, then? Like, do you write them down?
Oh yeah, we
And-
have because we do like a slideshow presentation for the meeting, so it's all there. We just keep it.
That's
and we just
awesome.
celebrate people, just little things. We'll celebrate them.
Yeah, little wins,
Yeah.
bucket fills.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. So from my perspective, being the hero is bringing these pieces in. Like everybody has a little, like if you guys don't do celebrations or don't do little wins, add them to your table, add them to your list. If you don't celebrate in ways that everybody can key into, figure out a way, right? Bring new pieces to the, and I don't mean like create new pieces. I mean, spend time in some of the resources that they might not have time for. And then bring that to them, right? There's nothing new under the sun. This is a normal real estate market, and it is a skills-based market. We're just coming off of such a different market that it is shocking, right? And the headlines out there aren't helping at all. So there's a lot. Can you move me forward? Awesome. Oop. Okay, so this is definitely a resource for you. I wanted to share this one more. What this book talks about, these are the different tactics that this book dives into. And again, if you guys need a copy of this, because here's where you might get some of those gold nuggets that you drip on your team for. And I will say again, the very first topic is that get real, get right. It's all about mindset. So in this changing environment, mindset becomes super, super critical for people. You know, they're going to hear no, and the people who hear no and internalize that and kind of shut down are going to have a hard time getting back up again. People who hear no and understand it's just one more step to yes, you know, that's great, and that's a mindset. So that first chapter, I was talking to somebody who got business right before they went on vacation. And you hear that. I mean, how many of you have heard that their best business comes right before vacation, right? Yeah. Okay. Here's my theory. I used to think, oh, you just paid attention to it because you didn't have time, right? Because you were going on vacation and it was a little bit of a hassle when that came. Here's my new theory, and I think it's true, and I'm going to put my stake in the ground on this one. We get business right before we go on vacation because our energy shifts. We are excited about doing something different. We are looking forward to time away. We're looking forward for time with our family. That energy transfers to all of the people we're talking to, right? And when you have that energy, people want to do business with you. This is, in my book, this is how important energy and mindset is, right? If you can help your people bring that vacation energy to their everyday, you're going to help them win. You know, it's part of what we talk about. Joy is Joy is a business tactic, you guys. Figure out how to bring the joy and make your life better and make the people that you're around, their lives are going to be better for it and their business is going to be better for it. So that's my untested yet tested every day on vacation theory. Okay. Joy matters. These other pieces are really areas that I would, that find them motivated. That's your scrappy lead gen, right? Right there. There's a whole chapter on things that you can do in that scrappy lead gen. And then some of those, there are four chapters in there that talk about lead gen and lead conversion. So as you guys are working with your agents, especially newer agents, if their conversion, if they're not tracking their numbers, encourage them to track their numbers. If they have different conversion rates, that's where we know kind of what training they need to elevate their game, right? So if they have a ton of appointments, but they have no business, it's conversion. If they have a ton of leads and no appointments, it's scripting. Okay. So those are things that we can plug into classes on. And Ignite, you guys, it's a great opportunity for them to get back to basics. They don't have to sign up for the whole thing if they don't need. If they want to focus on lead gen, they can just do drop-in for lead gen. This is, I want to help you guys be armed with all of the tactics you need to help support your people. I think one of the things that might be a really interesting chapter for them is creating urgency. We haven't had to do that a lot lately because the market created the urgency for us, but this is a little bit of a different time. And Bev, this goes to your, like, the market rates should not be off-putting to you right now, right? So what thoughts you guys? I've been talking a lot. I'm going to stop talking and let you guys talk amongst each other for a little bit. What are you guys hearing and seeing? What opportunities might be in your business right now that you can bring to your teams?
We're seeing, you mentioned agents. One of the things that we're seeing with newer agents is when they have a listing and it's about to go live, there isn't that flurry of showing requests that there has been, because the demand, people are just a little bit slower to pull the trigger. So the newer agents are coming to us and going, what's going on? Why haven't I got 20 showings booked already before it even goes live? So we're having to reassure them that it's very normal. It's how it normally is. It was an unusual market that we were in.
Mm-hmm.
This is more usual. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that we're seeing repeatedly right now.
Yeah. And the opportunity for them to use that first weekend as a marketing showcase for them and their
Absolutely.
business.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas before it was kind of like, are we even going to get to that first weekend?
Right.
Yeah.
Certainly an opportunity.
Yeah. So it's different. It's very different. And we keep telling them it's a God-given opportunity to work on getting your buyers, because you are going to be having those open houses. There's going to be more people. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's different for them, for the newer ones who haven't experienced a different market.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What other opportunities that, when you leave here today, if you had all afternoon to put a system together, what would it be on?
Well, you reminded me actually as well I'm not sure that the newer agents, we had pushed the Pivot Facebook group when it was first evolving. I don't think we've pushed it with the newer agents, and they are the ones that are going to need it. So I think we'll definitely be going, or I'll definitely be going back and revisiting that and making sure the newer agents are making the most of those. They're brilliant. They're really good. The things that they talk about and that, and just having the support as well. And people are living through the same things. Such a great group.
Yes.
Such a great group. So yeah, so thank you for that reminder.
You bet. Well, it's funny because, we talk to our agents about leverage, and you're their leverage. You all need leverage too. You're swamped, right? So there are people out there having these same conversations. If your agents get exhausted and tired, it is not all on you to lift them up. It's on you to connect them with the resources they need to understand what the industry is and what their career is all about. And there's a lot of those out there.
Yeah. So thank you for that reminder.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think our biggest focus right now is focusing on our clients, specifically our out offers, accepted offers right now. We have about like 12 listings on the market that don't have accepted offers. And a year ago, or even, 5 months ago, that just was not the case. So we're really spending time on client care and, having those hard phone calls, making sure we're checking in with them like every other day, or at least once a week if we know that they're not that type, right? So yeah, we're just really leaning into taking care of our clients, making sure they understand the market and they understand what's going on, scheduling those phone calls, scheduling those emails to send out to them, So we're just taking the opportunity to really change our processes and systems because we didn't have to even think about that a year ago. So
yeah, absolutely. And you know what, you just reminded me, on a lot of you guys play in the luxury area, right? There's a high price point for your teams. If you go on KW Connect, there's the whole luxury portfolio that talks about, that has different trainings and different opportunities for agents. But one of the things that they talk about is a surprise and delight campaign for their clients. And it came out right before the pandemic. It's just this idea that there are different times throughout a transaction when you want to surprise and delight your client such that they associate you with their success and not necessarily with the transaction that they're going through, so that they feel really good about you throughout. And they have a Brady Sandow puts out a surprise and delight process, and I can share that with all of you. We'll email the process out if you want to take a look at it.
yeah, surprise and delight.
Yep. And it's something that you guys can think about, just that concept for your agents as well as your clients, right? So everybody loves, we get so much email and so much electronic communication, dropping a nice note in the mail with like, your open house is coming up, here's a microwave popcorn and 2 tickets to a theater, get out of the house and enjoy a night out, or, whatever that is. Just, I'm thinking about you at different times that allow for that connection. And I'm not saying copy Brady's, it doesn't work. We've looked at it for ourselves. It doesn't work for everything, but the idea of when are the touch points that would be really special for your clients or your agents might be something to think about. So we'll send that out for you guys.
Picking it up a little bit, which is super helpful. I would love to see that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Any other things that it's like, oh, that's a great strategy or a great thing we need to be thinking about, or here's a gap, right?
I loved your comment about vacation energy. That's just always the case.
Oh, you went mute for a
Sorry.
little bit. That's okay.
Just keep it up, keep up that energy all the time. That's great reminders.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, one more slide, I think. This is the pivot shift ahead. Oh, you guys, also James Shaw is coming to do a training for us in person. We'll be getting information out next week about time and location. The date is August 10th. He's my professional hero. I love this man. He is as kind and professional and productive and fabulously successful as you ever want to meet out there. It would be and here's when we think about surprise and delight. If you guys are running competitions, if you're running like accountability things, I know for Ignite in our world, if people sign up and show up to every Ignite session, we're paying for their $49 pivot shift ahead attendance ticket. Right. So these are little things that we can do. You can surprise your people with a ticket if you think that would be valuable. Right. So strategically help your people stay engaged and excited. So that's one of the things you can do or talk to your rainmakers about. And then another just kind of different exercises that help you be the hero. I just wanted to give this out to you guys and your rainmakers. I know a lot of people are looking at their finances right now. And you may know this is a kind of a throwback to when the pandemic first started too, shifting market, right? Where you go through your expenses and pull the last 2 months, 3 months of your credit card and banking statements. I see a lot of shaking heads. So you guys know this, right? You want to go through and give everything a rank 1 to 4. 1 is it's essential. Like if this was a personal thing that you would do, it, like you're paying your mortgage, you're paying your electric bill, whatever that is, those are essentials. And 4 is what the heck? I have no idea why $10 is going to Apple on top of my $20, on top of my $30 subscription. Cancel it all, right? And if you do this regularly, you can keep your expenses in line. I think that's always one of the things that pushes on us as individuals, as people. Money creates stress, right? How do we make sure that we have enough money to live the life we want to lead? And it's just a reminder to keep your expenses in order. But the other piece is really your team. And as we think about things here, when business gets tight, it's always really important to be looking at this stuff and understanding what the return is for that. So, you know, if your surprise and delight campaign, maybe that costs you $100 a quarter, but you get, you know, you retain 6 agents out of it and they're all productive, that's $100 well spent, right? So be thinking about how to help your team leaders assess their financial efforts, right? What is the return on investment for all of those different things that they're doing? And when you think about new systems or processes to put in place, you know, try to figure out a return for you, or what is the return that you're looking to do. And if you had any questions about that, I'm happy to go over some of that with you. But that's also in Shift and also in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent in terms of how to make sure you manage your budget well. Make sense? Awesome. Okay, gosh, I am a talker. Sorry, you guys. We have about 12 minutes before we wrap up. How do you guys support each other in the next month to make sure that this is the best month possible for you and your team?
I'll go. Emily and Kevin, there are rainmakers, and Emily is in Greece and Kevin is at his lake house in Wisconsin. And I asked them to disconnect to reconnect when they're back. I would really appreciate if they took the time away from the business so that when they come back, they're like energized and ready to go. I love like the positive note that you had mentioned last week. Like, I don't know, I was talking with Emily and she was like, you know, what's our business missing? And I was just like, I just want to have like fun again. Like I want to have like a positive energy, to have fun. We're not, you know, doing brain surgery or anything. Like I want to have like a good time at work again and like look forward to work again. And I think that really does come with like actually being able to disconnect and get that headspace cleared so that you can come back to work and just you're more energized, you're more excited, you have better, when I have like a free hour, gosh, the things that I come up with for our like Tuesday team meetings versus when I'm, you know, prepping for that Tuesday team meeting at 8:40 a.m. before, you know, the day starts at 9. Like it's incredible, like the difference in content when I'm able to like really hone in on that free time and just be more creative and thinking more outside the box and hopping on calls like this. But that also goes with like our admin team. Kim on the call, she is taking a 2-week vacation coming up here. So excited for her, like just allowing her that time and then also covering her while she's gone and making sure, you know, no steps are missed. That's kind of where we're at this month. And it's weird to say that I want them to not focus on business in order to get business, but I really do think it will help because I want to bring that positivity and fun back into our culture so that we have that vacation mindset so we can all just like radiate positivity and good business. Yeah,
very much so. I love, there was a quote I read from Simon Sinek or an interview I saw with him. If you don't know who he is, he's a great consultant. He does some really good business podcasts and things like that. But one of the things he said is that one of the best compliments you can give your team is to say, I am checking out for a week. I trust in your judgment that if you need to get a hold of me, you know you can. And I anticipate that you probably won't need to get a hold of me. So I'm not going to be checking, right? It's a huge compliment to your team and to that. So if you have a team lead, I know for most of my career, when I was managing people, I felt like I should, like, it would be good for them. Like they would want me to check in. And now I'm like, you know what? Nope, they don't, they've got this. I don't need to do a thing. And it's a compliment to them. So if you've got a team leader who hesitates on that, just remind them that you've got this, and you are happy to help them out, and you will get a hold of them if you need them. You guys are very responsible and smart people, and you know how to figure it out on your own too, right? So I love that. What other ways are you guys thinking about making this month a good month for you and your team? And for you, especially. I mean, come on, it's about you guys right now. Self-care is so hard to talk about, isn't it? So hard.
I'm actually working remotely, which helps me a lot because I'm down in Nashville visiting my son and daughter-in-law and our little granddaughter. So she's down for a nap, but I'm actually babysitting and working today. So it's kind of fun.
That's awesome.
That's very healing for me. So I don't get to see them all that much, but it's fun when I come down, but I can still work. So
yeah, that's
some
awesome.
days she goes to daycare and I don't see her until her parents come home from work, but while they're working, I'm working, and it works out great. So
yeah, I think it's certainly something that we learned over the last year, is that there are lots of ways to get work done, you know.
Yep, remote working is fun.
Yeah, and your life matters, and your life is not only work.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Oof, I was a facilitator back in the day, and they taught us, like, if you ask a question, count to 17 before you break in. Make it uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me. Silence is uncomfortable for me. Sorry, I jumped in. If nobody has anything else that they are excited to share, or a tip or whatnot, we can certainly wrap up. We're at we're about 6 minutes to the hour. I just wanted to share, I thank you guys for spending an hour with me. I don't get enough time with all of you. You do amazing work. And I know our teams, I get to talk with a lot of the team leaders out here and mix and mingle with some of your folks, and they're very appreciative of the work that you do. So, so thank you for being present today and talking through some ways that we can make this an exciting opportunity, and you can be the hero in this shifting market. And if you guys need anything, you've got a great group of resources. I'm out in Lake Country. Charlie, Mandy, Josh, we're all here for you if you need anything. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy Nashville. Enjoy your vacation.
Thanks.
Time off and your success.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. You guys
Thanks,
have
Diana.
a great day.
Good to see you.
You too.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Enjoy
you guys.
yourself, Peggy.
Thank you.